Make it live with Big Dom. We ain't holding no punches. True players, we live, homie, no frontin'. Always talk about something. So taking over, you know that the wait is over. That in your face commentary is fire in the show up. We talk about sports, finance, and relationships. True players, we always playing the greatest hits. 1804, that mean Hades lit. Mothers still the true players like baby kicks. Our live podcast is hard as hard hats. Real life shit that true players will talk that. So tune in and watch the whole world zoom in. When they hit it, they...
What's good, everybody? It's man Big Down coming live and at you with a True Players podcast episode. We're going live at 10:22 in the evening. I want to apologize for the tardiness. We meant to go at 10 p.m. I had a little altercation with the Domino's pizza guy. I had to put him in check for his fat ass trying to talk slick with me, delivering my pizza. But anyway, we got the usual hosts here. We got Joey G, my brother JoeyG, Ricky Brown. Holla at the people.
Yo. What's good is Ricky Brown, also known as Dead Fred 821, live in effect, True Players Podcast. You already know what it is.
What's good is your man Joey G. We back at it again. Let's get it.
That's right. We're going to get this real good today because the purpose of this podcast is, do you believe that people in this world are scared to win? And the reason why I came up with a certain podcast was I came to a thought a week ago about the situation which I posted on Facebook. What I'm just going through my mind and how people just like they're comfortable doing the same shit. And when you see people do the same shit, it doesn't look like a winning situation. It looks like a losing situation. And from my standpoint, and I felt I had to come up with this podcast today and speak on it because it's for me as a person who grew up with parents who won when they're on the earth. Every day they seek to win. It's kind of bothersome to me to see that people don't have the same grind, the same hunger to win every single day of their life, every single minute, every single second of their life. They don't have that hunger to win. And the reason, we got to find out the reason why. What's going on? Why is this happening? You can't be comfortable in a shitty situation and be comfortable with that. The main purpose of people who win are people who are constantly uncomfortable with their situation, no matter what the situation could be. It could be the best situation they have, but it's still not enough for them. So they got to find a way to keep that hunger, keep the passion going, to hit another goal in their life. And then you got some people who just sit there and be like, okay, my life is shitty. Okay, I'll just keep my shitty life. I don't know if you guys want to add to that. What up, John?
Well, let's see. I don't even know where to begin with this because, there's like a plethora of reasons for people to be stuck in a rut. What's up, John? What's up, Poet Seaweed? Let's see. A lot of times we're taught to be complacent, and when I say taught, I don't just mean in the home. When you go out to school, when you go out to work, when you look at media, when you look at the music that we listen to, you look at the shows that we watch. A lot of times we're kind of programmed to accept a certain reality or to accept a certain fate. And as childish as that may sound, it is very effective. This is why they're so adamant about what message gets put out in certain music. This is why they're so adamant about what message gets put out in certain TV programs. And this is also why they're so adamant about exactly what's put into our children's curriculums. And that's not to say that the schools are specifically designed to hold us back. That's a completely different podcast. But a lot of times we're kind of taught to accept the fate. You know what I mean? And sometimes it does come from home. Sometimes it comes from reaching outside of the home. For a lot of people who don't feel that they have that home structure, They find that home structure outside of home, whether it be with their friends, whether it be with gangs, whether it be on the corner. And they do find a level of comfort in what most people would feel or would consider to be discomfort. So I mean, it's I feel you, Dom, like I really do. But there are a lot of us who, you know how they say, misery loves company. There are a lot of people who are satisfied and happy uh, with their so-called situation. They don't want to see any growth. And that's just one side of the coin. I mean, on the other side of the coin, you have people who really are afraid to try, afraid to actually put their foot out there. Some people are so afraid of failure that they won't give themselves a chance to succeed whatsoever. They won't even try.
My thing is,
And
if you're scared to, I'm sorry, bro. Sorry, Joe. If
you're
you're
good. You're
afraid
good.
of
Good.
failure, if you're afraid of failure, you're already lost already. You know, because the thing is that part of life is life is a consequence all to itself. If you don't make a move to make it better, your consequences, you're gonna stay in the status quo. The status quo, for me, in my opinion, is equals failure, because you have to have in your lifetime, when you reach a certain age in your life, you got to think about progression, think about positive movement. You can't go back to regressing back to your days as a child or when you're in your teenage years and things like that and think it's cool. When we become adults, it's something that goes with that calls responsibility. We cannot fear responsibility as an adult because we can't go back to being adolescents. We can't go back to being teenagers. This is what it is right now. And I feel that people's mentality is that if I mess up, okay, that's it, I quit. You can't quit. Winners don't quit. Winners got to find a way to win. You got to come with a different strategy in your life.
Amen to that, brother.
Come on, sir.
I've been real busy putting out a lot of videos on YouTube, and for a while I was looking for a sign off or signature to put at the end of my videos, and I found one, and it goes like this: Winners aren't people that never fail; they're people that never quit. You're gonna see as a winner, you're gonna see a lot of failure. As a winner, you're going to see a lot of losses. You're going to see a lot of setbacks. But it's what you do. Like I'm kind of reminded of that motivational quote from Rocky. Life's going to hit you hard. But it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how you get up and get back into the fight. You're going to see losses. You're going to see setbacks. Life sucks sometimes. It really does. And if you sit there moping about it, it's not going to get any better. And I can tell you that as somebody who suffers from severe depression and high anxiety and PTSD, I can't sit back and mope about everything. I got to try something new. I got to try something different. I got to try something else. I got to move forward. That's just me. Now I know I can't speak for everybody, but I've been there. I've been there where I've been scared of my own success. Afraid to step out, afraid of my own greatness. But uh, there's a phrase. It took me years to understand it, but it's something big that they say here in Baltimore. They say nothing beats a fail like a try. You gotta respect a failure for the fact that they actually get up off of their butt and apply themselves and actually try to do something, as opposed to someone who just sits back on the couch and says, "Well, you know what? Why even bother?"
What you got to say, Joe? I told you before. I didn't want to jump in and say something.
No, you're good. You're good. It's just I'm sitting back and I'm listening, and at the same time, I'm just reminiscing. I've been through all of those different stages. Been through all of those different stages. Been homeless. Been on the streets. Been in shelters. Been on people's couches, one couch after another, home to home. Um, and I understand. It's either you're gonna be complacent with that situation, or you're gonna try to make a change. You're just gonna be in that situation and be like, "Oh, it is what it is." or you can be like, I'm going to make a change out of this situation. It takes time. Some people's mental state is just like, man, fuck it, why try? This is the best it's going to be. Or your mindset is like, it ain't going to be like this forever. I'm just stuck right now. I just don't know where to go. Sometimes you don't have people to talk to. Sometimes your mental state is not in that place of progression. It's just like, yo, I'm just surviving right now. And you try to rely on the people that are closest to you in those situations, and sometimes those people are not the best people to be influenced by. They don't want to see you succeed more than if you're going to outshine them. They don't want to see that, so they're not going to help you but so far to get to where you got to go. And in the end of it all, though, and of all this stuff that I've been through, and D, I totally empathize with the PTSD and the depression, bro. I've been there too. And it's a miracle that I've been here this long, to be honest with you.
I feel you.
If it wasn't for my core friends, if it wasn't for my core family that was stuck by me through these situations, because like you, I do not believe in friends. I don't. I've learned over time that it's a figment of my imagination, to be honest with you. Family are the ones that stick by you through thick and thin, and from the beginning to where you are now. They may not be present, but they're always there in spirit and advice, and through the different stages of your life. You know what I'm saying? I got lost in a train of thought.
That's all right.
But
it's all right.
It's just, I understand the progression, man, and even battling all of that by yourself, and battling other people, whether they be blood, family, or who you consider associates or friends or whatever the case may be, battling all of that and still making it to the position you are right now and still trying to move forward. It's very hard to do, and there's only so many people that can do it. You have to have a mental state. It's like, I'm not going to settle for less. Eventually you get to the point is you learn your worth, you start loving yourself more, and you make that progression happen. There's no more talking about it. You just do. You get rid of the people that are toxic in your life, and you move forward. You start hanging with those people that are about your progressions, that check up on you, that are like, yo, I heard you were trying to do this. Where you at with that? Accountability partners. You need accountability partners in your life. Whether it be a significant other, whether it be a friend that you know for years, like, yo, bro, you told me you were going to do this. Where you at with that? I just want to see where you at, because we all trying to eat later.
Right.
And I think that's what gets lost. I think that's what gets lost in the shuffle of winning. You try to bring your family into something that you're trying to do. It's not about you getting all the glory. It's about you bringing your family up together, so we all win together. When you win together, it's the greatest win you could ever have. But a lot of family members, a lot of friends are so short-sighted or lack the esteem to win. That's a big thing. If you have low self-esteem, and someone who has a higher esteem, who is gun-ho, going hardcore for everything they want, it's a problem for the people who have low self-esteem. They're going to try to have the envious thought, the jealousy thought. Or they try to, they laugh, they talk in your face and say, yeah, you're doing well. Then behind your back, they're trashing you or tell you, oh, this guy ain't going to make it. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. I've experienced it. And the thing is, too, like I said before, you can't be happy with your situation that you're in.
No.
Because if my parents was happy with their situation, they'll still be in Haiti.
Sure.
They would have never came here. My father always had that hunger. Mm-hmm.
I will say this, not to cut you off, but
Hmm.
I also remember being in the Bronx and
Hmm.
living in an apartment
Hmm.
and knowing the other neighbors and stuff like that, the people on the block, and everybody had the same mentality. It was like a community type feeling. Yes, everybody was on the same level as far as financially, maybe a little bit low middle class, whatever you may consider as far as pockets are concerned. You work, you get money, you know it goes to the bills, you got a little bit for groceries, and maybe a little bit of luxury here and there. End of the day, we just happy to be in each other's company.
Hmm.
Everybody's living, our health is good. They don't see
Good
nothing
times.
outside of that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't see nothing outside of that. They weren't taught to look outside of that box. This is what it is. I have my family here. I have my job and my situation, whatever that case may be. Money's coming in. What do I need? Now I could floss by go getting something designer. That's my little floss. I'm not thinking about a car. I don't need it. I could try ride the train, I could ride the bus, or I could walk. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not thinking about owning a home. I'm not thinking about owning property. I'm not thinking about none of that because that level was never brought to my attention until you're actually shown you could have this too. And you have to believe that. You have to believe that. Yeah, I could have that. And yes, I do want that. Well, how do I go get it? That's the stages they have to get to in order for that reflection to happen and to for them to aspire to want more.
Gotcha. But let me add to this also that in order for you to win, you got to find out what is winning to you first. That's very
True.
important. Once you figure that out, you're gonna then you have to think about how are you going to win, and from there, people say, "What's your why?" But there's no why to winning. The only why to winning is you want to better yourself. That's the only
Right.
that's the only reason why people want to win is to better themselves, to get out the situation that they're in to a better position for to cause them to go further in life. And I think that the most important thing is when I posted this on Facebook, I think a few days ago, about possibly a week ago, one of my family members hit me up and said she was afraid of what the family is going to think about her winning. Um, and I explained to her like there's people in our family, and I told her who are doing great things. I got a cousin down in Philadelphia is on his mission to own Philadelphia by owning land, owning property. She's around that. That's something that you need to be around. You need to be around the right environment to enable you to win. Um, if you have a family member who hates on you, who's afraid that you're going to leave them behind because you're winning, it's either they jump on the train and win with you, or stay in the background. Sorry to say it, you know, we all. It comes to a point that we all try to have our individual families, whether we have a wife or a husband and children. Once that comes to play, your extended family is now secondary. Your primary is your wife or husband and children. That's your primary family, and that's what you're trying to work to uphold, to try to create. And that's what gets lost in the shuffle with winning. You can't be worried about what your family and friends are going to tell you. Because by the end of the day, they're not paying your bills.
Right.
They're not paying for your house. They're not putting clothes on your back. So, what is it? You're going to sit there, you want to be down? Too many people try to be down with the crew instead of rising above and leading the crew to victory. I feel that's
I
a
mean,
big issue.
people get stuck in that rut too. For years, I want to say I lived in my father's shadow. Excuse me, my uncle,
Hmm.
who I call my
Hmm.
father because he raised me. I lived in
Hmm.
his shadow. For years, I lived in his shadow. Like, what can I do to make him proud of me? I'm gonna follow all the steps that he did. He played football. I'm gonna play football. I wasn't built for football, to be honest with you. Sure, I love playing the game, but I wasn't built for it. Like, I wasn't like 180 or 200 pounds. People out there hitting people. I'm a buck 35. You know what I'm saying? I'm a buck 35, maybe a buck 40. You got people on the team that going all the way up to 210, maybe 240, something like that. Blindside hit, I'm on the ground, looking at the sky, and talking about, okay, I didn't see that coming. That was unexpected.
Right.
Sure, sure you could get up from that, and sure you could walk it off, but do you have to take that? Nobody had to just actually sat down and talk to you and be like, "Yo, build yourself up." You know what I'm saying? Then you can get back into that position. They led me blind into the situation. Oh, you want to play football? Let's play football. Not knowing the criteria to be on the football team. I mean, years of just academically trying to impress and uh, job wise and all of that. At end of the day, I had to realize it's not about how he sees me. It's how I view myself and what I am proud of, what I've
There you go.
accomplished for
There you go.
myself. You know what I'm saying? It took years for that. It wasn't. It was this process didn't happen overnight. And I want to say maybe I started thinking about that when I was 30 years old. That's a long time span from high school. 30 years old, I'm sitting back like I don't think that formula's working. 35, I'm like, I need to tweak a little bit something else. It's still not right. 40, I'm sitting there like, all right, this shit gotta change because we need to figure this shit out. But in figuring it out, even though it took as long as it did, I was able to find myself and find out um, what I needed to to make those progressions happen. And I had a lot of good people in my corner. I can't say that I did it all by myself, thinking about it by myself, and I had that drive and that winning attitude. It wasn't all about that. I had people in my corner that fed me the right information and led me down the path that I was supposed to be. Whether they were just pointing down the road, you need to go that way, or just like, yo, keep doing what you're doing. You making progressions along the way. Either way, it's a process over time. That's what I'm getting to.
You know what
I
it
don't mean
is
to
when
be
people
long
get you.
winded.
So you, sorry. Um,
Well, you said something important, Dom. First of all, shout out to everybody in the comments. I see y'all, Fishy Big, Aqua Funk, John Sheik, Poet Seaweed, Mr. and Mrs. Ross. Thank you for joining us tonight. But you had said something about there's nothing quite like when we win together. And
mhm.
I'm reminded of something that Mamiya Abu Jamar, rest in peace, had stated while he was still serving his sentence before he had passed away. He says, the American dream is usually a singular dream. We don't look at families or communities coming up together for a win. We look at an individual win. That's how you get the Jay Z's, the Puff Daddies, the uh, the Rockefellers, uh, oh God, what's that dude's name? The Bill Gates, like everybody that seems to make it on their own, and they seem
Buffett.
to rise above everybody else. Yeah, the Warren Buffetts, and truth be told, when you look at what Warren Buffett did, when you look at um, what Jay Z is doing, when you look at his old partner Dame Dash, what they're actually doing, they're not doing a singular effort. they're actually putting their family on. They're putting their people on. We don't see that because all we see is them sitting up at the top. Warren Buffett's
Right.
kids are millionaires. You could say anything you want about Will Smith's kids, but he dropped a line in one of his lyrics. He's like, um, "Y'all dinner table, what did y'all do today? My dinner table, how much did y'all make today?" Like there is a familiar unit that we're not really exposed to because what we see is a singular dream or a dream of being singular, of being alone and rising up out of the hood. We don't want to take the hood with us. You know, we want to we want to rise up above our peers. We don't want our peers to be on our level because then we're not better than anybody else. And that is another fear of success, I believe, where it's not just a fear of your own success, but a fear of your community success, a fear of your family success, a fear of your household success. Because if everybody else in your house is doing well, oh, what if you're lacking? What if they got to pick up the slack for you? And in all honesty, if we're a team, that's what we're going to do. If I
Right.
notice Joe is limping in the race, I'm gonna come behind him and throw his arm over my shoulder and try to run with him. You know what I'm saying? That's if we're a team, that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to leave everybody behind. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to leave anybody behind. Excuse me.
Mhm.
I get what you're saying. I get you, Ricky. You're not supposed to leave anyone behind. But what if they're not ready to jump on that train with you?
Well,
Are
that
you
that goes.
are you going to slow yourself down and wait for them to jump on that train, or you have to go on that train?
Well, see now that goes to the whole. That goes back to that analogy about you can lead a thirsty horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can take the time to put in some energy into your teammates, but at the same
Right.
time, if you got to realize you got to love yourself enough to know that you're hindering your own progress, that you're actually stopping your own progress, and that you can't blame that teammate for not being mentally ready, for not being emotionally ready, for not being spiritually ready. They'll be ready when they're ready. You can't
Right.
force that. You can influence it, but you can't force that. You know what I mean? And if you sit there and you just want to drill into their head, one plus one equals two, one plus one equals two, one plus one equals two, and they're just not getting it, or they're just not trying to get it. There's no reason for you to sit there and stay there in that same position. Yes, they're your teammate. You could come back to that. But if you just sit there, you're not making any progress yourself.
True.
Oh, I want to address what Aquafunk Aquarius just said. First time we get some money, we move to a gated community. That is so true. But the problem is, why can't we all move to a gated community together?
Well, I'm gonna say this because I've been around a little different people. Um, there's some people you can't bring to a gated community. I mean, some people are not ready for that gated community life. It's a whole different animal. It's a whole different animal, and the courtesies that you allow people when you're in a gated community that doesn't translate when it goes backwards. Take it back to the streets. That same courtesy we gave you in the gated community is not going to work on the street.
I want to touch back what Ricky was saying before about the hindrance and stuff like that. What people get confused is sacrifice and self hindrance. You got to know the difference between self hindrance and sacrifice. If you keep sacrificing for the same person over and over again over the same shit, it's no longer sacrifice, it's self hindrance. How do you feel about that, guys?
I definitely agree. Like I said, at the end of the day, you got to know to love yourself enough to say that, I'm gonna try to help this teammate, but at some point, you got to realize that the teammate has also got to want to help themselves, and you can't force them into doing that. It's like trying to get somebody off of drugs or alcohol. You can't force
True.
them into a rehabilitation program. You can't force somebody who's living on the streets to want to get a job. You can offer them a job, but you can't send them into that job every single day. You can't hold their hand. They've got to want to have some type of determination, some type of gumption, some type of moxie to actually get up and go, some type of fire in their belly to actually motivate them to actually move and make some type of progress. And again, that kind of goes back to what I was saying about respecting a failure. I got respect for a failure because at least a failure is trying. A
Yeah.
failure means that you actually went out there and tried and you didn't succeed. Hey, dust yourself off, walk it off. It's okay to cry, but get back out there in the game. You can do it. Versus somebody that's just sitting on the bench watching the whole game pass them by. To me, they're two completely different individuals. That person who failed is worth telling them again, get back out there. It's worth giving them some extra time during practice. They're worth having that conversation. Hey, when you catch the ball, do like this. When you throw the ball, do like that. When you're in the game, do this. When you're on the sidelines, do that. It's worth investing into someone who's at least tried. But when someone is stuck, and I'm saying this as someone who's been stuck in my own little rut, emotionally and spiritually. This is what the severe depression will do to you. Those commercials back in the day where they were talking about depression hurts, that shit is real. Let me tell you something. It'll keep you in the bed. It will
Yeah.
keep you in the bed and make you not want to get up, get out, or do anything. And that's real.
Try to
And no amount of drugs that
try
they
to
pump
try
in
to
your
sort
system,
one out.
no amount of drugs that they pump into your system is going to make you want to get up out of that bed. You got to find that deep down inside of you somewhere. And if you don't,
Mhm.
well, if I didn't, I'd still be stuck in the bed. I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you gentlemen.
The thing is that we
Okay.
all have that particular thing in us. We just choose not. Some of us choose not to reach reach deep down and reach and push for it. You know what I'm saying? Um, winning. No one said winning is easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be very hard. There's people in this lifetime that we live in. One thing's done easily. They run from responsibility. They run from whatever they're running from just to have the easy way out. Maybe their upbringing was kind of like rough for them. Maybe they lost a parent. They had to step in and become the adult in the house. This, that, and the other. It's in a very unfortunate situation, but your character should shine through and push you forward and be like, yo, I got this. I can do this. And still achieve what I want to achieve in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Ricky, you could push somebody to do something, but the most important thing is you can't want something for somebody more than they do. You're just wasting your time. You got to move on.
True.
Sorry, you got to move on. If they get mad, they don't want to talk to you forever in their life, then they don't have to talk to you. But you on a
Right.
path to you're on a path to your goals.
And the key
And
to that is to understand that when you finally get to that point, it's not that you don't care. You have to care enough about yourself to move forward and move on, and not allow your sacrifice to become your hindrance, as you said it.
mhm. And a lot of people, that's a lot that's getting lost in the shuffle. That I'm leaving you behind. That mean doesn't mean I don't care about you. I did everything I can to push you on a level of self sufficiency. This is how winning starts. You can't win if you're gonna rely on somebody else to give you something. You got to learn how to be self
Right.
sufficient. You got to want to be self sufficient. It's stop making excuses why you can't be self sufficient. Because the thing is that a millionaire could be broke, but a person with $20,000 salary a year could be rich. Why? Because the mentality of money management, budgeting,
Hmm.
saving, and living within your means. It's just it's just a mindset. Winning is a mindset. If you don't have that mindset, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm sorry for you, but you can't be in my way.
Right.
You can't
Would
be in
you
my
would you
way.
say that a a hustler's mentality is something to fit into that position? I mean, if we're talking about winning in this particular instance, and we're talking about being financially independent.
Let me explain something to you, brothers. You guys know my parents very well. You guys know my aunt very well.
Hmm.
They were the ultimate hustlers you ever seen in your fucking life. It's a disgrace that I'm not hustling as hard as they are when they were alive. It's a disgrace. I gotta push harder than they ever pushed, because they set the example for me to hustle hard, not soft. Hustle hard, push. No matter if you're tired as hell, no matter you got one arm, one leg, you gotta keep pushing because ain't nobody else. Don't let nobody else do it for you. That's what my
Right.
parents told me. That's what my aunt told me. Don't let no one else do it for you. You got to do it.
Hmm.
It's all about how
And
you were raised too. All about how you were
the
raised
pride
because
that
I hmm?
no, I was about to say the pride that comes from doing it yourself, though. Nobody could take that from you, and it's just a building block to help you get through the next level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you, I put it to you like this: if a person gave you a car, it's whatever. The car is not going to mean as much to you as you buying your first car after working so hard to get that car. It's not gonna be the same thing. If you had to, or if you bought a cheapo car and you sitting there building on this car, changing the brakes, changing the oil, everything you put into it, you get something from that. You have pride in the work that you put into this car. This car means something to you. So the work that you put into anything that you do, it means something at the end of the day. If you're not putting in the work at the end of the day and you're just sitting there collecting, it's not a good life to be living. I mean, if that's you and that's what you do,
And when you do the cutoff, they're big mad.
yeah.
And,
You know what I'm saying?
Fishy Biz said something. I had to scroll back up to find it. He says it's also as much as where you're from, just as much as where you're raised. I know in St. Louis, there's a mentality for most that is crab in the barrel, and it's terrible. And you know what, brother? That's not just St. Louis. That's here in
Yeah.
Baltimore. I've seen it in New York where I grew up. I've seen it down in Florida. I've seen it down in Georgia. I've seen it in the Carolinas. Unfortunately, I think I don't even want to call that an American disease. I want to call that a westernized mentality, you know, where the crabs in the barrel see one crab getting towards the top, so they grab them and pull them back down in, because you're not going to make it out of here without me. Um, as opposed to two crabs getting together and saying, hey, let's lift up this other one and get him over the bucket, and maybe he could drop a line or drop a claw and get us back out of there. We don't. But that kind of goes back to how we're taught. We're not taught to think. Um, we're not taught to think as units, you know. Um, and you're a teacher. Maybe you can weigh in on this. I feel that our school system is just one of many 12-step programs that we go through, and we're taught a reflex response to authority, and we're taught to be good employees. We're not taught the American dream. We're not taught business ownership. We're not taught economics. We're not taught money management. We're not taught community relations. We're not taught how to get our big brothers and sisters off of drugs. We're not taught how to get our parents off of drugs. We're not taught how to make relationships better with our neighbor because our neighbor has a different colored skin than us. We're not taught to have a better relationship with the person down the street because they pray to a different God than us. We're kind of taught to stay into these clans and posses and crews and cliques. Back to Help Skeleton. We're like we're taught to be in these groups and kind of stay to ourselves. For a place that's supposed to be a cultural melting pot, there's a lot of segregation and separation in our cultures. There's not a whole lot of molding and mending, and when there is, we're kind of looked at as being sellouts to our culture, to our religion, to our group, to our clan, to our clique, to our posse, or whatever. You know. Yeah, and
I agree.
he says I was saying St. Louis because that's where I'm from, but my family from Louisiana, and I see more us helping us, holding us down. No, I visited Maryland and D.C., and I guess as a visitor, I saw it different. Um, and you know what? Uh, visiting, visiting, you might get a taste of it. Um, I had to be in it to actually see it.
True.
When I actually saw the crab mentality. When I first moved down here, there was a song that Nas put out, on the rail, all you crabs can go to jail. And he was talking about people with a crab mentality. And I saw it here. And I felt bad because, maybe Baltimore isn't the city for me. So when I had all this family down in D.C., let me go down there. It was down there too. Shoot, I got family down in the Carolinas. Let me go down there. Out in the country, out in the backwoods. It's there too. And I'm not saying that it's everybody, it's every place. But it's kind of a byproduct of this westernized society that you can't let somebody get too much further ahead than you. Instead of trying to learn what they're doing and do something better, you got to actually stop them and cut them off and cut them down in order to make it yourself. That goes back to that singular that singular goal of achievement, that singular goal of wealth, as opposed to bringing your community and your family and your friends and your circle with you.
Good point there. Good point there. But this is a question I want to pose to both of you guys, as well as people who are listening on the show. Um, how important is mentoring is to a person in changing their mindset to get from the crab of the barrel type of mentality to now into a mentality that can be in a position to win, to improve their esteem. How important is that?
Oh, it's incredibly important. But my question that's been churning in my head is how do you mentor when you yourself are just learning how to break the mentality that you find problematic, whether it be that crab mentality or whether it be that complacent mentality of you sitting on your butt. How do I, like, okay, I just spent the last 10 years sitting on a sofa, drinking beer, smoking blunts, watching music videos, doing nothing with my life. And now I got myself a job and I've been working for 2 months. How do I influence you and tell you to do the same thing when you see my track record that's coming right behind me? You see what I'm saying? I've only got a month in. A lot of us aren't trying to hear that. That's what makes a lot of community leaders so successful. They've been there. They were the hustlers. They were the pimps. They were the gangsters. They were the drug dealers that actually turned their lives around and actually did something. Now they're preachers. Now they're community activists. Now they're this. Now they're that. But 10, 15 years ago, they were on that corner pushing that dope, and they could tell you about the game. But someone who literally just got out the game, how does that person try to mentor his little brother? Because his little brother been looking up to him for the past couple of years, seeing him on that corner, and finally he gets it in his head, well, maybe I need to get off the corner, and he gets off the corner. How does he tell his little brother don't go to the corner now?
Good question. And I feel that once you turn the corner, I think you're more than qualified to help that person turn the corner as well. Instead of doing it by yourself, you're doing it as a conglomerate, doing it as a team.
Oh, nice.
You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with time, how quick you got off. It doesn't matter how quick you got off turn the corner. It's a matter of fact that you turned the corner. Now you got to show that next person behind you how to turn that corner again. And you continuously teach the next person how to turn that corner. But the most important thing is to this, guys, the person that you're trying to teach that to has to be receptive to it. That's why there's some failure in doing that, because the person you're trying to explain that to mentor to, they're not being receptive to it.
And then
that's the problem.
Then Aquafunk brings up a good point. He says, like I said earlier, I'm gun shy to try and put myself out there and help someone. I should be ashamed to say that, but I really ain't. And you know what? A lot of us have learned our lessons just trying to help everybody. I've been there. I remember my mother had a dream about me being in like a pond or a lake or something, and I was being attacked by the sheep that I was trying to save. I've been there, because what she saw pretty much came true within a year. The same people that I was trying to help were the same people that were trying to tear me down. Y'all pay attention to your mother's dreams. They can be important. But the point that I'm making is everybody is not necessarily worthy. I mean, don't get me wrong. All our brothers and sisters deserve a chance, but you gotta be careful and ration out your essence, your presence, your gift, because everybody's not worthy of your gift, and everybody who's worthy is not always going to be worthy. Because I might be worthy of your time and your energy right now, but uh, circumstance, something happens, a dog dies, my car gets repossessed, wife gets killed, I lose my job, and now I'm drinking and I'm smoking, and guess what? I'm out of position to be worthy of your time and energy. I now need time and energy from somebody else who can help me from this situation, but I'm not where I was before where you could actually help me. And if you keep trying to help me now that I'm all the way over here, you might end up hindering yourself. And that sacrifice that you were making now becomes your hindrance, because now you're putting all this energy and time into me who's not worthy. And now you're hurting yourself. So that kind of goes back to what Don was saying before about loving yourself enough to know that you're not gonna put yourself second.
You should never put yourself second in any scenario, in my opinion. People may not agree with me. I'm telling you straight out, you don't put yourself second to nobody. You're number one. The other person could be 1A, but don't put yourself at number 2 for anybody, because they gotta want it either more than you, or they want it as equal as you want it.
I'll be right back.
So now with that, no doubt, you gotta kick rocks and go about your business. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And the thing, it's harsh, but it's reality, because the thing is that we come to a certain age that we can't sit there and look ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, it's okay for someone to carry me. You can't look yourself in the mirror and say that. Yeah, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you, bro.
Yo, the conversation was
It's
getting
not
too good, man. I could not hold
a
my water anymore.
My bad, yeah, bro.
I was gonna
Joe,
say
I
it
didn't
don't,
hear you, man. Yeah, there's a little delay on your audio.
it, it's not a to be that way when you make up your mind to move forward. And you didn't hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
hear you now. Yeah, you know.
Can you hear me now?
We hear you now.
Yeah.
It's glitching, glitching.
Gotcha.
How about now?
We hear you
Okay.
You're doing the Kung Fu
It's
Theater
not
thing.
impolite to be that way though.
now.
It's not impolite to be that way, and sometimes you have to be that way. But
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to protect yourself. Self-preservation should always be key.
Yeah.
Self-preservation should always be key. You know, if I'm in need and I need your help, what good are you to me, injured, hurt, and dying? You got to take care of
that's the
yourself
first thing
first.
they tell you to do. That's the first thing they tell you to do when you're on a plane.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold down
Bro,
your breathing
Joe,
apparatus and put it on you.
and
Then
then
you
help
look,
the next
then you
man.
look at your neighbor.
Then you get your
Joe,
neighbor.
remember
Yeah.
we spoke. Joe, remember we spoke on the phone, and you mentioned that the military mentality.
Uh
You know
huh.
what I'm saying? We spoke at nausea about the military mentality and how people should be moving. We all should be moving in a team. And how can you move in a team when you have that one person who has the envious problem, envious issue? They're jealous, or they're hating on you, on bullshit, on all that shit. How can you work in a team atmosphere when that's happening?
That, see, in situations like that, though, those people are easy to weed out. Because you have your givers and you have your takers. And if they're taking from the situation, not contributing nothing, you're gonna see it. Now, when everybody else is helping and they're just sitting back collecting, eventually the team is gonna look back like, "Yo, what the fuck is you doing?" It
I'm
shouldn't
about to
take
say
too
that,
long
that
to,
is not going to last long.
it shouldn't take
It's
too
not, it's
long to
not,
weed out.
it shouldn't. But the problem is when you're around a team who are takers, just takers, and not givers. The person who's doing the giving is being taken advantage of. Then that in essence becomes a ball and chain act.
You're on the wrong franchise team. We need to get you traded to another team.
Oh, see that goes back to self-preservation and loving yourself enough to actually take care of yourself. Because if you're the only
Right,
person on the team that's given, you're obviously on the wrong team. And if
right,
you got one bad apple on the team that's doing nothing but taking, then it's best for that individual to be put off of that team. How else are they going to learn how to give?
right.
Let me ask you guys a question. It's going to be an interesting question I'm about to ask right now. When does quitting become a win?
When it becomes in your best interest for self-preservation. And honestly, that's the only way I could imagine it being a win.
Yeah. If it's not working for you,
Yeah.
it's okay to cut ties and go on to the next conquest. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not not a lesser person. You just reach a point that you just bang your head against a brick wall and it's just not working.
Right.
No matter what moves you make, no matter what strategy you come up with, it's just not working. It's best to cut your losses and move on to the next conquest, next project. But when you hit the brick wall and you quit, and you just decide you stop doing other things, and that's when you start. It becomes an L. You're not learning from the experience. You're just sitting there and
Right.
wallowing in your self pity. And you as a person can't have that. People got families to take care of. You can't be caught up in self pity. You can't be caught up in woe is me attitude, especially when you have children.
That woe is me
I'm gonna say
attitude.
wife too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say wife too, but sometimes you have people who are who are not together with their spouse and they have that was me attitude and they don't want to still fight. They're comfortable being carried.
I'll drink to that. Tequila.
What's lost in the shuffle? We talk about people winning, but people seem to forget that any small win is still a win. You win small battles to win the war. A lot of people get
It's
caught up in
steps.
it takes steps. They want the get rich quick scheme or I want to get this fast. No, it takes time. When you work in progression, it's much more fulfilling and much more everlasting than getting the quick score.
Yo, you've never seen a baby get up out of the crib and run to the door. You've never seen that. And if you do, you show me that shit. I'll watch that shit 100 times. I swear I will.
You don't see it.
You'll
You don't
never
see
see
it. It
that.
takes time.
It's steps.
Take
They have to crawl.
steps of the
First, they move their body. They roll over. They get on their stomach. Bring their legs up. Crawl a little bit. Try to stand.
Fall a
Fall
couple
down.
times, get back up.
Get back up. Try it again. Walk a couple steps. Fall down. Maybe take more steps. Eventually walk. Then run. But it takes time.
but
It doesn't
it
happen.
takes
It
it
doesn't
takes
happen
it
right away. But people
takes
people are in
time.
this microwave mentality where everything has to happen now, otherwise they're disinterested. I'm gonna give up
Or
because
they tell you,
it's taking too long. It's taking too
or
long.
this the great comment I've heard from people. I'm gonna see how you do first before I decide to jump in.
The fuck are you waiting for me for? Who's to say I really want to do that right now? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you straight up. Maybe I don't want to do it right now.
And the fact of the matter is these later biz. And the fact of the matter is they'll jump on when you're at the top of the mountain. Motherfucker, I don't want you anymore. We
Right,
could have got to the mountain together.
right.
You
We're
chose
trying
to
to
wait to
get
see
to
what
a
I was
ground
doing.
level.
I have a
And
good one.
say your ass something. I remember Paul Seaweed said something too. He said he's in a position. I'm in that position. I'm becoming unable to do very much. So I have to pick and choose my battles. Paul Seaweed, the best advice I can give you is don't fight every battle. Choose your battles wisely. It's not worth it. Save
True.
your greatest energy for your greatest battle.
And then that's a
True.
woman.
Oh, woman. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what, Biz? They do say that about pyramid schemes, but check this out though. Our life is a pyramid. We come from our mother and a father.
And you know what?
Bob,
We have a negative connotation towards pyramid schemes. Most models are built like pyramids anyway.
Right.
There's always the pinnacle, and then there's the foundation, and the foundation is way bigger than that pinnacle. But you got to work your way up to that to get to that. What do they call it? The capstone, the top of the pyramid. Um, and therein lies a big difference between a lot of socialist societies and capitalist societies, because capitalist societies are built like pyramids, where you have this foundation that is the common workforce, the common people that build up for the next level, and each level builds up for the next level, and each level that goes up is a smaller level than the level below it. And you could call that a scheme, and unfortunately, it works. It's very efficient. Um, as long as long as you're putting energy into it.
Yeah, life is
No,
tears.
no, no, no. It is tiers, but by the same token, we call people call it pyramid schemes. That all our jobs is based on a pyramid. You got the CEO, you got the CEO, you got the assistant CEO, you got the CFO, you got the what you call it, the head manager, and you got the manager, you got the supervisor, the shift supervisor, then you got the worker.
And that's
Yep.
that's that's you and I usually.
Absolutely.
True.
Without the foundation, you will
True.
always fail.
Yep.
True.
Absolutely.
But you have Caribbean families that have that mentality that work together towards a commonality. You have Mexican families that buy a home, live in the home. I was like, oh, there's like 20 people living in one home. But guaranteed in 6 months, those 20 people that were living in a home have cars in another home.
Speak on it. And
You
speak
know what I'm
on it.
saying? Because
And
they're working
half of
together.
them don't even like each other in that house, but they know that they
Oh,
part of the same team, and they got a common goal, and they still gonna work towards that goal. And
Real
taking a
facts.
step.
I've seen plenty of my American brothers and sisters, both black and white, hate on quote unquote foreigners because there's 30 of them in that studio apartment, and then 10 years later everybody has a house. Well, how did that happen? Well, did you pay attention? Because when
Never.
they bought one house, they still pooled their money together and bought the second house, and they still pooled their money together and bought the third house, and they still pooled all their money together and bought the fourth house. They were still a part of a team.
Right.
Meanwhile, Manuel and Jose was beefing. Paola and Lizette then got into three fights. It's not a perfect family, but they still worked together and still reached that same common goal. We can't do that.
Right.
True.
Bro, you use my brush. Forget you, man. I ain't on this team no more. You know what I'm saying? We're that emotional.
Real
Right.
fast. Real fast. Real fast. Real fast.
Right.
That's why I did this podcast. I had my brothers with me. This is we us three is a conglomerate. We all have our different views, but we come together and form like Voltron. It's okay. It's okay. Some people, even in your family members, you can't come up with a different opinion because you're against what they want, and that's a problem. They put you in the corner.
Yeah,
We can have the difference of opinion all day, every day, but best believe tomorrow our conversation it's not gonna come up, and I'm not gonna have resentment in my heart because you felt a different way than I did. I could truthfully tell you this: I could sit down with a Trump supporter and not have no feelings on that person and their choices that they made for the president. I really don't.
bro.
That
I've
that
been
was
in
your
live
choice.
streams. I've been in live streams with Trump supporters and Biden supporters, and you know how I feel about politics. Period.
Listen, that's just crazy. You show me
But
another
but
party, and then we have something to talk about.
but you know what? Am I going to sit up here and waste energy? I mean, I'll give you my opinion. I'll tell you how I feel. But am I going to sit up here and waste energy and tell you why Trump is the best of the worst? Am I going to sit up here and waste energy and tell you why Biden is the best of the worst? I mean,
Right.
does that really matter? As long as you know how I feel, we can keep it moving, and then we can talk about fish, vegetables, fruits. You know what I mean? Like there's other
There's
stuff in the world.
a topic.
You know what I'm saying?
You stuck on politics? I was done with that conversation minutes ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to
What
figure out why
what are
my
we talking about?
follicles ain't growing. Goddamn it! Fuck Trump.
Right. We told you
Let
from
me
the
let me
beginning
let
it
me
was a
let me
plan.
let me ask business question. He says these youngsters will cut your throats for $10 instead of working together to make 20. That's so true. But
Yeah,
as the older generation, how are we gonna get them to change that mentality? How could we get them to change that mentality?
You have
that's a
to show
good
them something
question,
different.
man.
You have to show them something different. If I'm taught this is the way to make this money real quick, and this is what I gotta go out there and do, then that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know nothing about Wall Street, but if you put a drug dealer in the Wall Street game, I guarantee you he'd be making millions.
Yeah,
If he has the
Absolutely.
same drive and hustle that he has on the streets, he'd be making money the
all day.
legitimate way, legal way, all day. It's the same mentality. They both have a hustler's mentality. They're both thinking about that next dollar they need to make. What's the difference? One's legal, one's illegal. That's the difference. One has a different aspiration than another.
Fishy Biz says you all had to get to a particular position mentally to be able to get that way. That's the struggle. I agree.
That
So now the
that
question
comes with
is,
experience.
that kind of comes back to the question that Dom was asking. How do you get that youngster who's ready to
Mhm.
cut your throat for the $10? How do you get them? How do you influence them to the mentality of working together to make the 20 instead of cutting your throat to get the 10? Because the money that come quick gonna go quick.
Correct.
If we get together and we build in some money, that money's gonna last at least a little bit longer.
Now, I'm gonna take it in business terms. I'm gonna take what Samsung and Disney. One company
Why
is
not
about to
Amway?
buy the other company out. We'll buy the. What
I
about
wonder which
Amway?
one.
What about Amway? Um, we're gonna take one company and we're gonna buy the other one out, and then sell it back to the other company. We're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars. But like he said, though, we go back to the block. Somebody dies over $7 a day. It's not in my pocket because you owe me that.
We just
Business in the business world, millions of dollars is lost. Oh, that's just part of the game. We move on from that. $7 in my pocket, that's not there. Person loses their life. If you can explain that to me, then we can figure out the other situation, because that's what is coming down to as far as that conversation is concerned.
facts. That's what it
So
is, man.
I like what he says. Says I take them aside, let them understand the prettiness of the $10 and how they can focus on the $20. They both have ideas to get to the $20, then have them put those ideas together. Let's make this money using both ideas and combine influence. I like that plan, but the hardest part is the jump off. How you gonna get them both
Yeah.
aside so that you can show them the prettiness of the $10? Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. Once you get past that first step, the rest of it's kind of like the snowball effect. Like it all just kind of rolls downhill. You know, it's easy once you get it started. The hardest part is getting it started. How do you get that blood and that crip in the same room to sit down? How do you get that BGF family member and that MS-13 in the same room without trying to go to war with each other? You know, it's easier said than done. Yes, and it is possible, but you want to talk about a struggle.
I'm gonna say this real quick. When it comes to personal credit and personal money, it's totally different from business credit and business money. The two have totally different outlooks, and one is faster of getting cash than the other way. Our
Hmm.
personal life, as far as trying to get money, is a struggle. If you own a business and you're trying to get credit, those steps that you normally do in your personal life is not the same in business. It rolls downhill faster. The money comes to you faster in business. In your personal life, as far as getting it, is made the opposite way. You run it uphill in your personal life. In the business world, it's coming towards you. You just have to get to it.
The most important thing, guys, we got to teach the younger generation is how important it is to leave that Jordan aside and use that same money to invest in your future.
Mhm.
Invest your money for the future where you could purchase your house without having to use a mortgage to pay for your house.
Mm.
Having some assurances on your life instead of a GoFundMe page. Because the Jordans could wait. Build your savings now while you're young. Jordans will always be there. The $200 shirt will always be there. Hold on to that first, and build yourself up on a financial level where you can sit at the table and be like, yo, let's trade numbers, let's share ideas, let's come together and open up a juice bar, let's come together buy some property and rent it to other people.
Right. Build the community,
You
You
know,
understand what I'm saying?
live on, never rest. But let's take a look back in time at one of the greatest of all time, Michael Jackson, and say what you want about his kids, but when you saw him with his kids, they were wearing flip flops, Walmart jeans, T-shirts. Same time, you can go on YouTube right now and find Michael Jackson shopping. $500,000 sofas, $2 million lamps. You ever see any of those Jackson kids in Jordans, in Gucci, Prada, Fendi, Louis? Never, never. That $3 million lamp though, they was beefing over that when they tried to shut down Neverland Ranch after the man died, because that was actually worth some money. Not that LV pocketbook or that little double G symbol piece of crap. That ain't gonna be worth nothing after you wear it out because you don't wore that belt every day for the past 3 years. We're not taught to invest wisely on what we invest in. We're taught to follow trends,
right?
and the trends that we're
Trent, Trent,
following.
Trent, Trent's at being down with your friends
Yeah, how about that?
leads to a broke mentality. Then you're out there robbing and stealing killing for $7 and not saving that same money to build it to $1 billion by the time you're 60 years old.
Preach. There's just said my students are busting their ass trying to get a job at McDonald's just to get the Jordans, then quit. Yo, we went to school with some of them, bruh.
No, shit. They gotta do a pair of Jordans every week.
Hmm.
For real.
But it's okay. Listen. It's okay to
And the
indulge in
toothbrush
yourself.
with the toothbrush in the classroom cleaning the sneakers.
Oh yeah, we had those. But I'm not knocking people who indulge in themselves because if you work hard and understand the value of saving and building and leveraging either your credit or your finances to get where you want to be, it's okay to indulge on yourself. But if you're not doing any of that and your only sole purpose or your goal is to get a pair of Jordans, There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that mentality, and that's what we got to teach the kids today to change that mentality. That we can't. Too many times we have fall behind, whether it was the Indians, the Chinese, the Europeans. We always seem to fall behind them. Why? Because their focus is different. Their focus is when they're 18 years old, they get in that house. I'll rock a hoopty, but I'm getting that house first. Because when I get the house, I could always refinance and get the hot new car.
Right.
All the while using their single credit on using the house as a leverage to get that. I was taught, by my parents. My parents had great credit. They leveraged that credit to build their annuities constantly. My father, the law of 72, the rule of 72. Listen, that's a very interesting thing that people need to learn about. The rule of 72. My father took that and took it to the next level. He leveraged his house. I kid you not. Leveraged his house, got 50 grand. Used that 50 grand that he refinanced the house for, put it into an annuity. 5 years later, he was able to pay back the 50 grand in 3 years and turn that to 150 grand. And he kept on doing the same thing because you got to understand trends. How you gonna understand trends? You got to be with somebody who could show you that, and you got to be receptive to that. You feel me? It's all about reception.
That means
if you're not gonna be reception, you got network. Hell, you fuck the network. You got me. I can show you that. Set up an appointment with me. I'll show you that all together.
They still have to network with you.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm here now. I'm here now, brothers. I'm here now.
They still have to network with you, bro.
I'm here right the fuck now. Set an appointment. I'm here. I'm just want to just talk. I'm willing to talk to anybody who adds value to my life. I'm open to that. It's never. I don't believe if someone is adding value to my life, I never ever view it as a waste of time.
True.
Because there's something I could be learning from you. There's something that you could be learning from me.
Right.
True. What I'm
saying?
It's a give and take relationship, though. It's a balance. I shouldn't say that. It's a balanced relationship. It's a balanced relationship where you're both receiving something in the end. And knowledge is always a good thing to have in that.
Knowledge, like I said, knowledge is true power. Knowledge is true power. That's how you truly win. When you have the knowledge, it's easy to win. Winning is still hard, but it's easier to win when you have the knowledge to back you up. And you surround yourself with people who can feed you more knowledge. You got to surround yourself with people who like to win. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you got to...
Is that 92 payments of $60?
No.
I thought that's Chevy, 1992 Chevy.
Payment to $60.
Oh, 92. Huh?
It's a 92 Chevy with $60 payments.
Oh, okay.
How much is left? How much is left on that car though?
I'll be honest with you, with $60 payments, it's probably increasing because of the interest.
Yeah. He's not paying nothing. He's just paying interest.
He said that he's just paying the interest. He said the interest is killing him.
Yeah.
I mean, my advice to you is to now pay. Your uncle would have to pay more money, and on his payment, make sure that it applies part of that money to the principal. You could call the finance company and tell them, listen, I want to pay such amount directly to principal. They should be able to add that to the principal.
Oh, see, can he refinance at this point?
Depends on his credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? He's saying that stuff like this happens to us all the time.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
It's true. But they use that. That's what Dom is getting at. They use that because you're not knowledgeable.
Right.
Right.
There's a scripture. I don't know if it's in the Bible or the Quran. I done read so many. They all just start merging together at this point. But something about my people die because of lack of education, and it's true. It's true. Right. You're right. Not everybody knows how to do that. Not everybody knows how to do that.
True.
Right. That's why it's good. It's always good. It's always good to network. Definitely. I'm gonna tell you, Biz. I'm a peep game on this, yo. I was financing a Acura MDX 2009. Paying, I'm not gonna tell you how much I was paying. I was paying some good change for it. But the fact of the matter is, by the time I ended up paying for that car, I was gonna be upside down. So what I did was, I ended up trading that car in because I had a pending mechanical bill that's gonna cost me about 3 G's. Lo and behold, still got 4 more years left to pay for that car. So what I did was I ended up trading that car in. I made sure I trade that car in for a lease for a 2018 Infiniti. That was like 2 years ago. What I did was, did I pay a higher payment for my lease? Yes, I did. But guess what happens? I bought out 3 years out of the car. 3 years out of the car would have had if I had kept the Acura. And I'll be out of the lease by the middle of next year. I saved myself about 2.5 years of payments, and paid more in the beginning, paid more now to get me out of an upside down car. So I'm ready to trade that car in for another lease. I'm even Steven. I'm at either even Steven or above. I'm ahead of the game. You feel me? And the key about the credit cards too, is the thing about credit cards. People gotta learn how to some share with credit cards. I know it's hard, but the thing is about credit cards is always try to use at least 30% of your credit cards and pay on time. Don't go over 30%.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
That's the advice. That's the advice I give. You can have as many credit cards as you want, but by the same token, I'm gonna bring business. I'm gonna bring Biz into the podcast. Biz, what's up, man? What's going on, man?
What's cracking?
Chilling, brother.
Hey, man, I was getting tired of typing. I had to come in, man.
I appreciate you joining the show, though. I appreciate you.
I know. Appreciate it.
So yeah.
Now it's.
Go ahead, Biz.
All right, Biz, I think you might need to turn something down.
Oh. Sorry, y'all. Right now. Let's see. Am I clear? Where am I? Okay. All right. Am I good?
Perfect.
You good?
Sorry, y'all. Okay, so I was trying to say, man, that they get us at 18. When I hit 18, they hit me with a credit card while I was in college. You know what I'm saying? And if we didn't have people like, so wait, I'm sorry on the names. I know Fred is Ricky, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then is it Dom?
That's Dom.
Yeah, Dom. Yeah.
Okay,
Dom.
and then Joey.
Yeah.
Right.
Pleasure meeting you, brothers, man. My real name is Drew. So, but yeah. So they hit us like that, and we free money. That's as soon as we think it. You know, if back in the day your parents didn't put the bills in your name where you're already jacked up, now you don't have any credit. Now they give you a credit card. They give you a live check. You go to the bank, you cash a live check. You got $800 in your pocket. You don't read that it's a 56% interest rate.
Right.
Which is compounding daily.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't pay within the 30 days, payow hits you, right? And it takes and if we don't have somebody to look at that, but like, yo, you got to rip that up. That's not the move. Then we don't know. And so now we already start off on the bottom. Now we got to pull ourselves up. Now we got to cut corners, hustle a little bit on the side. Man, I was teaching and working at the flea market and selling CDs and DVDs and just trying to get it cracking. You know what I'm saying? But if we have somebody that is in the village that helps us, lets us know that when you get to this point, this is what they're going to send you. You're going to rip this one up. You're going to wait and do this. You're going to work at McDonald's. Yeah, but it's not for the Jordans. You're going to work to get that car because you know your mama ain't going to be able to afford it. You know what I'm saying? And you need insurance on top of that. So, you know, once we start getting there, then we in there, you know? It's like you said, it takes somebody to know something to let you know. So I had wanted to jump on and say that, man.
Definitely appreciate you jumping on. But I'm gonna give the advice I give to everybody. But when they say that live checks in the mail, it's a motherfucking trap. Tear it up, because those checks are being they're just calculated through a cash advance APR, not your purchase APR. Cash advance APR is compounded daily. So if you pay that cash advance in full the next month, you still got to pay the interest after that. It's not fully paid off.
When we get back interest. When we get back into the school building, I'm gonna fly you down, man, so you can talk to my seniors, man, because I know it's gonna hit them right in the butt, bro. I didn't. You know what? I ended up getting a live check, and this was what, I'm 40. I got one at like 35, and was like, "Ooh, I ain't never had one of these before." I cashed him out, right? I cashed him out. I paid it off within the 30, and I was gravy. Credit. I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm waiting on the next one. The next one come. I'm like, "Ooh, money, right? Oh, get them." Right. Paid that one off. Man, they hit me one time, gave me a G. I was like, heck yeah. I was trying to plan out how I was going to pay. Missed the 30 days, right? It went into about the 45th day, and I was like, here go the G. They was like, nah, son. You owe us more than that. I was like, how? What? And then after that, I was like, oh, this is crap. I was 33. And I could read. I didn't know what I saw the percentages. I was like, that ain't nothing. They just said pay it back within 30 days. Okay, bet I can do that. I got a job. I can knock that out. But, if you don't hit it, like let's say, I had a job and everything else, but I end up missing some expenses here and there. You miss the 30 days, that interest accrue. Booyah, booyah, booyah. You missed that. Booyah. Oh, man. Now you racking up. They let you borrow $500, but you owe them $2,500. Like, what? How? Yeah, so you got to understand it, man. It's real.
But see, we even us in our 40s, we still part of that microwave generation. It really started with us. We're not going to take the time to read those contracts. It's like reading the terms of service for an app.
Right.
I pull up my phone. I want to play Angry Birds. The hell I got? Oh shit! You want permission? Sure, fine, whatever. Click.
Yeah. You playing Angry Birds? They're going through all your photos, all your naked pics, all the stuff that you sent to old babe.
Yep.
You gave us permission, G. We got your dick on cam.
Why you feeling all violated? But you signed up for it. You
got all your nasty vids in the cloud, wherever that is.
Right.
Well, I never put nothing in the cloud. I don't even know where the cloud is. I'm so scared of iPhone because they got an iCloud. I don't know what to do. Hey, you want I don't want nothing. No iPhone, no iCar, no iCloud, no iGmail, nothing. I want nothing There's no I in team, none of that. Straight up.
Oh man, definitely. We did that live for this. We going strong, guys. Hour and a half on this podcast, going on strong.
Oh, that's what's up.
Not for nothing. He came in. He lightened up the mood.
Yeah,
exactly. He sure did. Thanks, Drew.
Look, I'm used to it, man. This is what I do in my classroom, man. My students still tell me they love me even over virtual. I didn't believe it would happen, man. I've been trying to get them in and trying to get them together. Hey, Mr. Clark, you're the best teacher. I'm like, hell yeah, still in there.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. And then Drew, you might not know who I'm referencing, but I'm gonna tell y'all right now that this is Mr. Carell. He just got a tan. Y'all remember Mr. Carell from Turtle Hook?
Yes.
It's a Bangladesh. Like, yo, like this dude will learn you something. Like, and make you want to come to class.
Wow.
Man, I'm telling you, man. Look,
Did you have
I
to take
rolled
it
up.
back to junior high school though? Did you have to take it back to junior high school though? He said,
Bro,
Mr. Pharrell.
that's how far back I had to go to find a good teacher. What you talking about? They have to take it back to junior high school.
Right? Right.
Oh
Man, I rolled up on my students for fun at McDonald's. Look, that's that McDonald's stuff. I be rolling up on them. Look, oh my God, man. I rolled up on one, man, young lady. Man, she didn't even see me. I just rolled up on her. I was like, is that? Looked at her. She turned around. She was like, that'll be 7-6. Oh, just went just straight like that. I said, yeah, where your ass been, huh? You ain't been coming to class getting F's? What's that about? I had you last year as a freshman. I had to beat you over the head to get a B out of my class because you smart, but you lazy. But now you just not going to do nothing because you at home and it's over the internet. She was like, I just can't focus. I said, I wish I was at your house. I hit you in the head and make you focus on my mama. I said, I better see you in class on the 5th on time. She said, what? When we go back? Hey, I'm gonna need you to know, okay? I'm coming back up to this McDonald's and I'm gonna complain about the chicken McNuggets being cold. I'm gonna go all over the restaurant and have you fired so you can go home and get in them books straight up. You too smart for this. You too smart for this, and you know I'll be back. She was like, all right, Mr. Clark, all right. I'm on it.
Let me find out.
Hey man, look, every time I walk in, hey Mr. Clark, they beating up Key Ray in the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, man, why?
Somebody get Kid Ray, man.
Kid Ray, man, they trying to get him. Jump expeditiously, man. You gonna kill yourself anyway. Do it.
Do it.
Do it, man. Man,
Smoke crack,
yeah.
Smoke crack.
All the time, bro. I get it all the time. I be talking to Fred, man. I didn't even know your name was Ricky Fred. I be talking to Rick all the time, man, and be like, you know, he tell me about his tutoring and mentoring and everything, and I tell him my stories and stuff too, man. And it's so important. It's super important, man, that they see us in these positions that we are in. They see Rick in the position that he's in, and they get it a real view of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can attest to my students because I'm teaching some of my classmates' kids. I called my classmate up on one kid, man. Look, hey, Rod, is this your son, man? His little chunky butt, man, sitting in the room clowning. He's like, he clowning? He said, hey, Drew, hey, knock him across his jaw if you need to. He's like, I'm letting you know. I was like, that's a bet. Hey, speakerphone, say it so I don't get in trouble. Hey, I'm gonna put this in the computer to make sure that it's okay. All right. He said, man, hey, son, he gonna knock you the hell out. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Yo, ass is mine. Man, had no other issues, but that's what it take, man. It take that hard love, and they gotta understand you. Now, yes, if I was maybe of a different persuasion and this, that, and the other, and hey, you shut up, you. Ooh, maybe I have to get sent to the principal office. But because I understand you, and you definitely gonna understand me, and we had that understanding that I want you to do better because I care about you. And that's what the problem is. I don't do no content work in the first week and a half of school. All I do is relationship build, rapport build. I want you to know where I'm coming from, and I want to know where you coming from. What do you expect from me? And I'm gonna tell you what I expect from you. We're gonna sit in a round table. We're gonna get to know each other. I don't care if you have any enemies in here. We're not clowning in here because your biggest enemy in here is me, goddamn. Me. I'm your biggest enemy. And also, I'm the biggest class clown. And I will gun your ass down if you get to talking. Because I was slick with the tongue when I was in school. I'm still good with it. And plus, I'm the hottest teacher around. And there's nothing you can say about me that I'm not going to get you because you still in puberty and your face look terrible. And I'm going to let you have it. Straight up. Your eyebrows jacked up,
man.
your nose big, your teeth rotted out, and you ain't got them all in there. They look like dolphin teeth. All in your stuff, joint. Straight up.
Talk about me, Ma.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Man, and they know it.
Gonna work on
And they know it.
Oh,
They
man.
know it. But yeah, man, I couldn't see
though?
myself doing anything else.
It's important that we find a way to actually reach these youngsters, because I swear as the years go by, it's like they're getting harder and harder to reach.
It really is true. And I'm scared after this year. This year here, with so many, I've never seen so many zeros in my grade book. And I was so hesitant to put them in. I done called home, I done emailed, I done tried, and I have to put them in. And it sucks because I've never seen it like this. And we had a significant drop after Thanksgiving. And I can only do so much. Once you come to my class, I can keep you there. But I got to get you there. You know what I'm saying? And that's your mom and them. You know, sometimes they unmute themselves on their microphone, and it's all kind of chaos going on in the room. I don't know what the hell, where are they at? Man, it sounds like they're at a club or a truck stop or a bus station. I don't know what's going on. And they can't, I can understand them not being able to focus, but still some of them make it through. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough to see, man. It's tough to see. And I understand that we are away from them due to safety and life, because people have died.
Daddy, you're my finger.
That's dope, son. I love that. Keep that up. That's what's up. Go play with it over there, though. Daddy's talking. Go ahead. Go. And but I'm scared after this year. I just don't know. Hopefully we get, you know, some coming back. We've had parents get so upset at teachers for calling them about their kid that they just was like, look, if he just want to quit, he gonna quit and he could get a GED. I ain't never heard of parents. What?
Wow.
Never heard of that. Never heard of that.
Bro, I'm
Wow.
telling you,
And
man, I'm telling
Hey,
you.
listen. In our era, GED was a bad thing, so we always try to get that high school diploma.
Exactly. Right. Man, I ought to said GED to my mom and them. Are you crazy?
Oh,
My mom and dad, my dad was a social studies teacher. My mom was a home economics teacher. I didn't really want to be a teacher. I wanted to try to be a pediatrician, but I went to the wrong school. I got a scholarship to the teacher school. So here we go.
Maybe that was your call subliminally. You never know.
Seriously.
For real.
Yeah. I'm one test away from becoming a principal now. So I'm trying to get that cracking. I mean, I'm gonna have a fish club. I'm gonna have, so you know, my YouTube channel can grow, and then I'm gonna have a mentoring spot where I'm gonna ask you fellas to come out and talk candidly, and we're gonna get you paid. The school gonna pay you. Make sure the district gets you right. Yeah, I'll come down there and talk to you. We're gonna have Dom talk to him about don't cash the live check. We're gonna get that going, man. Have y'all cats talk to him, man.
But you know what?
We'll talk to everybody. I would have
said something about, it's like the movie Idiocracy. I swear to God, that's where this nation is headed. And I swear to God, that's where this. If nobody's ever seen the movie Idiocracy, check it out. Terry Crews was the freaking president of the United States as a former wrestler. Like it.
Do we have that already? Trump was a wrestler too.
Stop. Just because
he was a wrestler. He was a manager. He was a manager of Umaga. No, not Umaga. Someone he was wrestling. Remember the ball head versus ball head? Him against Vince.
Right. It was Umaga because Umaga won.
Oh, that's crazy. I thought y'all was talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he wasn't no wrestler.
We talking about Donald Trump was a wrestling manager.
I don't want to see Donald Trump wrestle nothing but he wrestle his way out of the White House. Just fight yourself out that mug.
Listen, it's gonna come to a point, Drew. They're gonna have to drag him out. They're gonna drag that man out of the office the way he's acting.
Man,
coming with the National Guard, talking about he got to get up. You need to get out,
bro. Man, you know it's bad when my freshmen. These are my babies. They are 14 years old. And I was like, hey, y'all see y'all president? They was like, he's such a man, baby. I was like, I've never heard a 14-year-old.
Wow.
I was like, damn, they are spot on. This is crazy. 14 years old. 14, bro. Man, baby. Crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
Telling
Fellas,
you.
I'm about to call. We're gonna call the evening. We're gonna call evening on the True Players podcast aspect of the stream. We're gonna take a little 15-minute break. We're gonna segue to the premiere of Rum Talk with Joey G. Next 15 minutes. Hold your seats. Get your glass of rum ready or your favorite liquor ready. We're gonna be on the pub in the next 15 minutes. But once you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, True Players Podcast. Look, search it on YouTube, True Players Podcast. You can listen to an audio version of the podcast on Anchor, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Any feedback, comments, and complaints, email me at trueplayerspodcast@gmail.com. It's your man Big Dom. I'm signing off. Ricky Brown, Drew, Joey G. Hit him with your final thoughts.
You know how I feel. If anybody out there knows anybody suffering from any form of mental illness, please reach out to them. You never know what difference that reaching out can make. You can save their life, you can save your life, you can save the life of countless others. And as always, please remember, winners aren't people that never fail, they're people that never quit. So don't ever quit, don't ever give up, especially not themselves.
Joey G.
Drew.
Oh, hey, man, I don't have much to say, but everybody stay happy, stay healthy, stay peaceful, man. Everybody be easy all the way.
Got you. Joey?
Building a legacy with my family, Gomez Legato. I want you to do the same with yours. Build a legacy for you and yours.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to finish off with this. Winning isn't everything, but if you want to succeed in life, you have to set a winning mindset. How do you do that? First, you got to find out what is your definition of winning first. Once you've discovered the definition of winning, find out how you're going to achieve that win. And keep in mind one thing: a loss can be a win only if you learn from that loss. So don't quit. Keep pushing. And whatever you need. If you need somebody to talk to, find a mentor that you can speak to keep your head on the right level. Never quit. Quitting is the ultimate L you could ever take in life. Keep pushing. Like I said, True Players Podcast. I'll speak more on financial aspects on another podcast. That's for another podcast. I welcome everyone to listen to that podcast when I come out with it. And bid you guys a great night. All right? Peace.
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 This that true player shit. We gon' make it live with Big Dom. We ain't holding no punches. True players, we live, homie, no frontin'. Always talk about something. So taking over, you know that the wait is over. That in your face commentary is fire in the show up. We talk about sports, finance, and relationships. True players, we always playing the greatest hits. 1804, that mean Hades.